Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're focusing in a little bit more in depth on the psychopathic trait of being prone to boredom and how this relates, how this translates into their relationships or their lack of connection and bond to others, and how it also is very much a causative factor in the devaluing and discard phase after the love bombing, after the idealization from their romantic partners or business associates or family members. Now, one of the hallmark traits most typical presented in the psychopath, male or female, is a lack of conscience. So, based on the brain regions in their brain, their mental processes, particularly in the frontal lobe, the prefrontal lobe, the amygdala, and the other limbic areas of the brain responsible for decision making, responsible for emotional empathy, emotional regulation, as well as conscience, which means a sense of right or wrong, impulse control, as well as reward seeking, are all responsible for the emotional dysregulation we see in psychopathic individuals and create a propensity to be very sensitive to fits of boredom. So boredom meaning that they are restless. They have to keep it moving. They have a high need for stimulation. And this is because they have a very sensitive dopamine receptor system, which means when they are going for something, they're overly ambitious. They have almost like a tunnel vision. And because of their lack of empathy, because of their lack of conscience, which is a sense of right or wrong, they engage in high-risk behaviors. So where ordinary people, healthy people, would not feel comfortable, they have a sense of conscience, a sense of right or wrong, a moral principle, and integrity. These individuals have no brakes. They have no stopgap mechanism that makes them feel, I don't want to do that, or that would be wrong. So it's very easy for them to override moral systems, laws, norms of human relationships. So in other words, cheating on somebody, pathologically lying about them behind their back, feeling as if, they are not really bonded to others. So even important family members like their children, their pets, they just really see everything as kind of replaceable and as an object. So they really do not, because of their neural wiring and the brain regions and their lack of activity, or there's a certain deficit in terms of how these brain regions work, they do not have a conscience. So they will engage in very odd behavior, meaning hurtful, destructive, and calculating. So this proneness to boredom is because they have such a hypersensitive dopamine reward system, which means that if they are not feeling a sense of reward or stimulation, they get restless. And so they need to keep active. They need to keep on the hunt. They need to keep on the prey. They need to keep on the prowl. They need to keep trolling. So we see this very promiscuous behavior, especially in the male psychopath. They derive a lot of heightened pleasure from sexual conquest. And I say conquest because it is more of a conquest for them. It's not necessarily as a means to a relationship. It's more as a means to an outlet for them to gain pleasure, for them to gain power over others. So it's really more asexually motivated, meaning that they don't really have, it's not because they might be attracted to this individual. They might find them an easy target or easy to get what they want from them sexually. They're not in it for the relationship. They're in it to win it, just to very, very much more so conquer and just have power over this individual. So they might target somebody who's an easy target, an easy pushover, someone who's very naive, or someone who presents as a challenge to them, someone who is a little bit has a little bit of spunk, a little bit of fight back. So depending on what this individual is going for, there's going to be a number of different relationships, though, outside of just their primary conquest. So also one of the very typical features of the psychopath is the short-lived relationship. So they're constantly churning, constantly going through they're just almost like a funnel of conquest. So even if they're married, even if they're engaged, even if they're with somebody quite frequently, a bulk of the time, chances are they're juggling a number of different relationships in their phone, through email, through other dates. Oftentimes you see a split life, just, where they're one way to another person, another way to another, so they can have almost like a split personality where they completely hide and conceal one life from another. So they might be living with somebody else and dating somebody else, and then also engaging in one night stands or have a frequent kind of affair. So they are very capable of juggling a number of different sexual relationships. Because of their proneness to boredom, they need to satisfy this need for stimulation. And it is also because the psychopath has a dopamine deficit. So if they don't satisfy this, they feel very deadened, very bored inside. So that's just part of their neural network, is to go and pursue these satisfying relationships, oftentimes which take the tone of sexualized relationships, because they're able to satisfy that aggressive need. And there's really no love, there's no bond. It's just as an amusement, it's just as entertainment, it's just a way for them to fill their time. And they really don't have a sense of caring if they've hurt somebody or not, because oftentimes the sexual act is one of the most bonding or most intimate of the relationship acts that humans can engage in. And so a lot of people do get attached to them. They fall in love with them. They get addicted to them. They like the hypersexual behavior. They like the high-risk sex. They like the promiscuity. They like the way that this person. Makes them feel. They make them feel like a trophy, like an object, like the most beautiful woman, like the most good-looking man. They make them feel like they're the center of the world, and they live this very illusory relationship. And so they get distracted from their own sense of right or wrong as they get gaslighted by this individual. Gaslighted meaning they're able to almost create like a psychological conquest over them through the things that they say, through their inquiry, and just really sussing out and feeling that they're identifying what their weaknesses are. So they'll get them to really distract from their own identity to, in essence, become completely and utterly distracted onto them and what they point out as this fantasy life, or taking them into these romantic escapades, which no one else has done for them before. So they get swept off their feet. They lose orientation of where they are. And so oftentimes the psychopath will say things like, "Oh my God, I'm just losing it for you. I'm all over you. I can't stop myself. I can't help myself." So, they'll say these things that but they're just telling you what you want to hear, but they really do not feel it. So, "I'm losing control. Oh my God, let's, yes, normal, healthy people go through that, but it's the psychopath will do it with a calculated and deliberate way to manipulate and control you and see your genuine reaction. And they're just going, wow, I really got this one. And it's just a mind game that they play. So the really, I think, fraud of them is that they don't have a true heart inside. They don't have true feeling and connection to others inside. It's just kind of a game that they play, almost just like a game of tennis, where someone is just playing, tennis and trying to beat their component, their opponent. The psychopath just looks at the same way. They're just looking to overpower and win over another. There's no connection. There's no bond. There's no love. And so if they do pursue a long-term relationship, it's very much for the guise of a normal relationship. So it's just kind of like having, something in your house, the way that you need cookware. They need the facade of having a relationship. So it's all just a juggle. It's all just a game. They are prone to this pathological lying. They're prone to these superficial statements that they'll make to people to get them lured in. And with the luring in, people really fall for them. They fall for their sweet statements. They fall for their escapades. They fall for the high risk behavior. They fall for the violation of boundaries. And so then the real love bombing gets set up, but then eventually the psychopath is going to get bored. They're going to cast them away, where this person now is inextricably bonded to them, looking to them for attention, looking to them for that same euphoric feeling, looking to them for those same nights out, days out, text pictures, all the violations and really love bombing behaviors. They're looking to get that back, so they'll do anything. They're addicted to this individual, so then they'll do anything to get that feeling back. And so that's the devaluing, and then that's where we see the brainwashing and gaslighting, and that the individual thinks that this is a real relationship when there's nothing of the sort intended. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.